People in the back, I don't know if you're going to be able to hear or not. I don't know if you can squeeze in somewhere, especially. I want to make sure you walk away from here with the information you need for putting together an emergency plan, if needed, for next spring. So high water is affecting the entire state, and high water will probably affect Clay Township more than anywhere in the state.
Or ground zero.
Yeah, we'll be on ground zero. So some introductions to start with.
We've got Keith Kompaltowitz with the Army Corps of Engineers, Pat Cooney, the Director for Emergency Management with the Army Corps of Engineers. I'm Justin Westmiller, the Director for Homeland Security and Emergency Management with St. Clair County. Dr. Annette Mercantant, the Chief Medical Officer for St. Clair County Health Department. And we've got a sergeant with the DNR, Sergeant Chris Maher.
Really since last fall, when we first started seeing the potential for high and even record high water levels on the lakes. If the net total supply is greater than the outflow to the next downstream lake, water levels will rise. The water levels have never risen quicker than they did during that 24-month period. Here's that period of record that I talked about. So we'll add a couple of, point out a couple of things here.
A septic failure, that would be a really important thing for you to consider.
We have seen slower than normal seasonal declines on all of the Great Lakes this year because of the persistent wet conditions that we have had. And then you can see the new records that we established earlier this year as well. Water levels to start 2020 higher than they started 2019. Some higher peaks are certainly possible this year if we continue to see these very wet conditions in the winter and the spring.
It really is important to us because we're going to have to spend some serious money if we go back to where we were before.
I have some papers here that you could contact the coalition yourselves. They have a questionnaire they'd like you to fill out about how much money you spent during taking care of your property this spring or this fall.
My staff met with the Army Corps of Engineers, U.S. Coast Guard, Canadian Coast Guard, all 7 emergency managers throughout southeastern Michigan, as well as the National Weather Service. And from 1900 to 2020, we are at an all-time high for precipitation over a 60-month period. And that's important for us because of everything Keith is talking about. And you're still going to flood out potentially if you don't protect your home, okay? It's all about your home.
I want to address the guy in the 45-foot boat that's listening to Jimmy Butler with his margarita and has no clue going down the middle channel or south channel, right? You sound like a crazy man. I mean, you gotta understand.
And we don't think you're crazy.
Nothing.
Going forward, you know, yeah, I have concern on certain roads on the island and everything. I have a concern about Dyke Road.
Yeah.
We get 6 inches, that's underwater.
Right.
You know, and I mean, it's going to be a serious problem, no doubt.
I met here in Clay Township with the Michigan Public Service Commission and the ferry owners several times on those issues. How do we make the system work?
You didn't meet with us?
Well, no, I didn't. I met with the owner.
My suggestion is that we hire an attorney and proceed with the class action lawsuit against Champion Ferry.
What's going on is just unacceptable. No heavy trucks for how long? It's been since June.
And it's with structural integrity beyond what we have now that's already failed before.
Okay, and I'm not going to second guess that. All I'm going to say is that You know, that's what
Where's
you're-
the urgency?
That's what you're observing.
That's what we're up
is-
against with
is
a private
two people
owner.
working. Certainly, I was in contact with the people on the repairs. I
The
think
two people?
I was in contact with Bob, okay, asked him if he needed any other.
We asked him too. He wouldn't take it.
That the rate increase was not justified, okay? And that other people could run the ferry cheaper, and we could all save a lot of money. You're not the Michigan State Border Police,
I
are
had a
you?
conversation.
And you don't know nothing.
I had a conversation.
We met for 30 minutes yesterday. He said he'd be glad to pursue building a bridge between Harson's Island and the mainland. We would have two basic conditions to do that.
But I understand the DNR is now willing to go ahead and work with the bridge company. And that's the way to go.
I mean, it's regrettable that that happened, and we apologize to all those that were inconvenienced.
Again, my question is, why weren't you doing that other dock, so we'd have two docks?
That's option A. Option B is you can
Will there be a better ramp so that we don't bottom out?
Will there be any consideration on your part to bring in additional help, additional resources?
The pilot was continuing into the dock. He shifted from forward into reverse on one engine, and that's not correct. That's misinformation.
That's what they say on their website.
Yeah, believe everything.
There is no agreement between the ferry company and any municipality, and historically that has always been because
Senator Lowers, I'm reading from your legislative analysis of the bill that you did. Yeah, this is really confusing. I need.
Was any consideration given to the amount of money that the folks on the island can afford to pay?
People have kids, and the school bus crosses every day. I had a panic attack today coming across thinking that what the hell is going to happen if this dock collapses while I'm trying to get off? Who's inspecting this?
Yeah.
Is there a point that if the water goes up where we might lose our electricity, water, any idea like what that would take?
What can you do to help us?
Yeah, I think so, Mike, and just so everybody knows, I hope you picked it up during this meeting that a lot of the people up here, especially with Justin being the key, you know, we've been talking about this stuff since May.
You need to include residents.
I've seen this presentation, so it's not being kept secret.
We have several emergency plans and contingencies.